part 2 of shush you. We're going to shush. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, go and get that. Okay, we're going to distill the vodka sugar wash today to just turn that into the neutral spirit. So we're going to go through the process of that. Here we are back in the shed, and you might remember if you've watched the other video, there's the sugar wash there in its container. The first thing we're going to do that is just check the hydrometer. Okay, this here is a basic hydrometer. Nice simple device. Where's it gone? There it is. And what we're going to do is we'll just check inside our liquid here, and we basically want this to be that orange one there, beer, just a little bit above that. Just basically, it just measures specific gravity of the liquid and sees if it's ready to go. We'll put this in and have a look. Pop the hydrometer in there. That'll sink. Now, what you want to do with this is you give it a little bit of a spin like so. That will find where it needs to be, which is just about bang on for what we want. Up is our still. Here it is. So this is a reflux still, a 35 litre reflux still. It's a pretty simple system. You have to go online to find where you buy them. This is the top, such as the cooling tower. Inside, it's got our measurements on there. This is our tower here. It's our water in and water out. It's got a coil inside there that gets cooled. And also all our steam and everything comes up the tube here, and then it comes out here, and it'll come down and drip quite nicely onto it. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to put all this straight to the top of the still. Now what you've got to do with this one, you've got to be really careful, is as you're pouring that in, as we get towards the end, we end up with quite a lot of sediment in the bottom just from the sugars and what have you. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but we don't want any of that sediment that's in the bottom of there to go into the still. So what that does is if that sediment goes in there, it tends to sit on the bottom and it gathers around the element that sits on the bottom, that gets hot and it sticks to that, and it can end up breaking your still. So I've done that before, broke it, so I had to get a new still, or a new still base anyway. But yeah, so just be really careful of that. Next here, we're going to put the head back on our still. Leave that. For me, most importantly for me, I get my little measuring jug and I put it under where our copper tube comes out, where all the alcohol comes out, and I put that under there because my first thing I want to do, and always remind yourself, is you've got to be able to catch the heads. We don't want to drink any of the heads at all because it's super poisonous. So for me, some things you read, they say 100 ml. I throw 150 ml of the heads away from this every single time, which is quite a lot. I actually keep them. I don't throw them. I used to throw them away. I keep them now. Believe it or not, I use them for lighter fluid. You can use them for cleaning fluid. Next thing I'm going to do is, I have this temperature gauge here. I prefer to use this. We're in Australia, so we use Celsius. Tell them it's currently, I'll just take my fingers into it. Anyway, there's a little jobby on the side there, that just goes in there. And as everything heats up and that steam gets to the top, we're going to wait for this to get up. I'll explain a bit more of that in a minute. And then I'm just going to plug the hoses in. Hoses just click in. Lovely jubbly. They can sit there until they're ready. We don't turn the water on yet. We wait until this is just before this starts getting to its temperature, and then we'll turn that on. Temperature is 25.8 degrees. We've got a long way to go, but this will go very rapidly once the temperature gets up there. So what we want this to do is actually get up to about 90 degrees Celsius, and then it'll rapidly come down, and we want it to get to about 78.4, and then we know we're bang on ready to go. Okay, as you can see, our temperature's risen quite high. We've got up to 80 degrees there. It's dropping quite quickly. So now I just need this to drop down to 78.4 roundabout. Still see that dropping now. This on, and we should start getting some clear liquid coming out of here. There we go, perfecto. Now that's the heads that's coming out of there first. So like I said, I'm going to let that fill up to about the 150 ml mark, just to be, I like to be safe, better safe than sorry. It's a different reading with the heads, the methanol, the heads which are methanol, that's the poison. So you get a slightly different read, and the more poisonous if you use a fruit-based wash, like when you're making brandy. But with this, I like to throw away the 150 ml. Hit the 150 ml mark with the heads. I'm just going to move that out of the way. They're in. Now that there, I will leave. That should probably take about 2 hours and should fill up to about here. Okay, that's a 3 litre container there. So we'll have a look, just check our temperature. Our temperature is remaining on 78.4. Let's go a bit closer, there we go, perfecto. And then I'll just grab these heads here, and then I have a little heads container. And I just keep all that in there. So when it first starts, you can smell it. And you'll smell it when it changes, when it comes into tails later on as well. It's a bit of a different smell. But you shouldn't really leave this still. I mean, it is basically a lot of pressure in there and a lot of heat. So yeah, always kind of stay around where you are, where the still is, and it's a good fun thing to do anyway. Lovely constant stream of beautiful neutral spirit coming out of there. You can have a taste of that as well. It'll taste quite sweet, very sweet. Also makes you want to spit. That's probably coming out at about 95% at the moment. Just risen up to 78.8, which for me is as high as I like to go, because now what starts coming out of there is tails. So the tails can be a bit stinky. You'll be able to smell them. And also if you drink the tails, they can give you a bit of a headache. So I usually stop, I collect the tails, and then you can redistill them and you end up with another neutral spirit again. Here we have it, our finished product. Beautiful clear liquid. Ethanol in a jar. I'm just going to go and check that with the alcometer, just see exactly what percentage that we've ended up with. Alcoholometer, however you say it. You see that measurements on there, just gives us our alcohol reading up to 100 there. And I've just put some of the alcohol in a tube. I'm just going to drop this in, give that a little spin, and that should give us round about our reading. Where is it? Let's have a look here. It's just stuck a little bit on the side, but we've actually ended up with about 97% alcohol. Perfect. Okay, there we have it. Neutral spirit, beautiful clear spirit in a jar, which is actually ethanol. Got quite a good volume there. I'll go and break this down now with some spring water or some filtered water, and then I'll add some either gin or honey bourbon essence to this. Tonight it will probably be, I'll add some gin essence to it. Still spirits make a good product. And we'll enjoy ourselves having a little drink. Anyway, until next time, ciao.